Hey everyone, welcome to the Slice of Healthcare podcast. I'm your host, Jared Taylor. Joining me today is Alex Condoleon from Sanofi. I say it weird, right? Sanofi. There's a couple ways you can say it, right, Alex? Like, set the record straight once and for all for us. There's a few ways.
I say Sanofi, so
That's
you scored
all.
5 points.
No one tell me I say it wrong then, because Alex said I'm good.
You're good.
Uh, I'm really excited to have you on the show. I've run into you at a couple conferences and when I've been in town over the years. So it's always great when we can have you come on the show. Real quick, Alex, give us a little bit about your background and role at Sanofi, and then we'll dig into really the digital health side of Sanofi.
Yeah, great, Jared. So I lead an effort at Sanofi to launch a digital healthcare business in the US. I've had a good career time with Sanofi. I've crossed many parts of the business, from prescription to our consumer business. I've worked in various geographies: Australia, China, Europe, and now based out of the US. I've got to say that when I start to think about what's possible with digital health, I think it really starts to bring together all the different parts of healthcare. It's not specific to prescription businesses. It's not prescription specific to provider systems. It's not just consumer. It's really something which is like very unique, which is able to bridge all parts of the healthcare landscape. And I think that's a super exciting place to be working right now.
And over the years, most people know Sanofi, for the pharmaceutical side of the business, right? But talk us through, this like division that you've built out, this business unit that you've built out over the years, right? And I've had the pleasure of meeting some of the members on your team, but talk us through. I think people today, based on the great work that your team has done on the marketing side and throughout, are aware of Sanofi's digital health, business unit. But let's assume that we also have some people that haven't heard of it. Talk us through what the focus is in this unit today.
So as a total company, Sanofi is really able to leverage the miracles of science in order to help people achieve their health goals. I think that treating a disease at a molecular level, where there is molecular consistency, is something which works really well for a drug intervention. But then there are all these other dimensions to health, and they're dimensions about the lifestyle choices that you make. Put in a simple way, if you've got a chronic disease, you might see your physician a handful of times a year for 5 or 10 minutes at a time, but you're living with that disease 24/7. And so, as a very sort of natural extension of what we're trying to do as a business and our purpose of trying to make sure that we're improving the health of communities that we're there to serve, leveraging this advancement with technology is a very natural extension. And I think there's a contextual relevance to that, because obviously we all went through an unexpected period with COVID, and we all adopted digital in ways that we never thought we'd be adopting today. And so I think it's not only that it makes sense from a company which is wanting to innovate in terms of how we deliver good health to people who are experiencing challenges with health, but it's also the pool of health consumers. It's what we all are expecting today. So, I think that is the opportunity that exists, and that's very much what's drawn us as an organization to be focused on what's this opportunity that's now demanded by consumers, possible technologically in terms of feasibility, and is starting to find reimbursement pathways to encourage the innovation. That's what makes this a great space to be in right now.
You gave us a few pieces of, I guess, where I was going to go with my next question too, and it's kind of a two-parter, right? Why was Sanofi interested in digital health in the first place? And why do you believe more pharmaceutical companies have had this peak interest? You already gave us some pieces without answering this question, but if there's any additional things that you would want to add as it relates to those questions, we would be interested in hearing that.
We spend a lot of time and effort trying to make sure that we're servicing people who can benefit from our drugs. But when you think about the role that a drug plays, it can just be a moment in time. It might be a daily tablet, it might be a monthly injection or an infusion, or whatever your treatment paradigm is. When you're the person affected by that health condition, you're definitely wanting the drug to help you on your path to optimize life. But I think you're wanting a whole lot of other things as well. You're wanting to know where you can go for help. You're wanting something that can understand that you're a unique individual and you're making unique choices. This is where the power of having a digital platform that can engage people is so immense in its value. And if we can go a step further, and if we can have a digital platform that not only engages people with a given condition, but helps them make the right habit choices so that they get the best health that they're desiring, then that's a win for everyone. So I guess I would sort of say to you that, pharmaceutical companies solve a really big part of the healthcare challenge, right? Of what's brilliant ways that science can unleash therapeutic impact. We can go further than that, and we can also offer people an entire experience and journey that's helping them with the disease state that they're in. And that's where I think focusing ourselves on digital solutions that are there to help people who have got a condition to make great choices, I think is a very natural fit, and it's a very natural extension of the traditional way that pharmaceutical companies work. So we service you with a drug today, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility that we'll be servicing you with an experience tomorrow, and that experience, of course, has therapeutics that are being part of the intervention, but also has an entire experience which helps you get the most out of the goals that you've set yourself as it relates to your health and well-being.
It was, I believe it was last fall. I had the opportunity to hear you and the chief medical officer at Dario Health, which is a partner of yours, talk about this partnership that you put together. And then since then, we've had the chief medical officer, we've had the president of Dario Health come on. They've kind of given their side to the partnership. Would love to also hear. I know this happened, in the fall of last year, and I know it's a continuously evolving partnership. Would love to hear where things are at today with that. And then, just kind of give as a reminder the quick snippet, I guess, about what this partnership was meant to be from the start.
Yeah, so Sanofi and Dario Health formed a collaboration just over 12 months. We've just passed our first year. And I think both organizations saw it as a very natural and synergistic collaboration. One thing that was really important for us to identify was a digital health company that we were able to evaluate had a great product, had the right sort of evidence, and was really ready to scale. And at that point, we wanted to come to the table with capabilities that we've got on the Sanofi side to help Dario scale. And that led us to form a three-part agreement. We have a co-promotion agreement. Today, we are introducing Dario to payers nationwide. A development agreement where we're investing a meaningful amount of money in the innovation agenda of Dario. And for that, both companies are really purposefully collaborating. And a data and evidence agreement where we're trying to leverage what capabilities we have on the Sanofi side to really be able to articulate the value of the Dario solution. I think, a year in, we're having really a lot of great learns and I think a lot of great traction. Dario has recently announced that the first set of accounts are being landed as a result of the collaboration that exists with Sanofi. In the next quarter, in the next coming months, we'll be launching with Dario enhancements to their product, which will have come through our innovation and development efforts. And also in the next couple of months, we'll be releasing the first bits of new evidence that we've been able to generate as part of this collaboration. So I think I look back like incredibly positively on what our first year has been able to teach both companies. We were really, from the beginning, wanting to make sure that we preserved the brilliant innovation that comes from Dario, right? I mean, one thing that a corporate needs to not do is to suffocate the brilliance of what comes out of the innovation from a partner company like Dario. And on the other hand, we wanted to get the right operating model so that when it made sense to synergize with Sanofi capabilities, we were doing it. So I think that we feel beginning of a very meaningful and long journey, really encouraging first signs. And, I guess the last thing I'd say is there's no better way of learning what's possible in a market than to be in a market. And I think that we're learning hand in hand, and that's going to help us to innovate more effectively than what we could have done without this collaboration in space and in place. And I think ultimately we're going to be able to make a meaningful difference for people living with chronic conditions, and we're going to be able to learn a lot in that process about the role that digital can play, including in collaboration with a pharmaceutical company like ours.
And as someone who's spent a fair amount of time in the digital health space, right? You've dedicated a number of years in the space. Let's talk through kind of through your lens. What's the future of digital health? What is really exciting you about the movement? The industry as a whole has made, but then also you already kind of alluded to the excitement around this partnership that you've had and the progress that you've had. But I guess more broadly, what excites you about the future of digital health? What do you envision happening in this space?
When I think about digital health, my starting point is, can you can you imagine a world in 10 years time where healthcare is like it is today? And I just I can't. I mean, like the societal pull, the societal acceptance and expectation that digital is part of your experience with healthcare is clearly there, not only because of COVID, but clearly accelerated because of COVID. That's a great opportunity, right? We know that navigating healthcare is difficult. We know that making care available to those that need it most and addressing the social determinants of health and other equity challenges that exist in how healthcare is delivered are things that can benefit from digital. I think that I see only positive signals. It's very easy for us for those of us working in this digital health landscape, it's very easy to see the barriers, but sometimes I think we don't see the progress that's been made against those barriers. In fact, the progress over the last handful of years has been dramatic, and I'm sure that progress will continue. We will start to see mature business models, mature pathways for achieving, reimbursement. I think the policy environment's favorable. So net, I see the fundamentals being positive to give people a better and more digitized experience of healthcare over the forthcoming decade. And I think you have to be there. You have to be there and willing to learn. And that's what's going to help us all come together and create that better future.
I love it. Yeah, I'm with you. That's regardless of anyone's thoughts on the future of digital health. That it all starts with that first question: can you envision it being exactly how it looks today, right? And the answer with everyone is no.
Right.
So it'll be really interesting to see, even 2, 3, 5 years from now. Look at how all the progress we've made. Some was obviously pandemic related, right? But I believe we were going to get here. It maybe just pushed us a little sooner, and as a result, that's actually making us be a little more ahead in what the future of digital health looks like. My last question for you, Alex, is I know you can only share certain things. So, what you're allowed to share with us, what's next with what you're doing that is exciting that you are, allowed to tell us? I know there's a lot of stuff you probably can't tell us and you're excited about and you're smiling,
Yes.
but what you can tell us.
Yeah. But what I can tell you is keep watching this collaboration with Sanofi and Dario Health. I think after a little bit like a marriage, right? We've had our first year. I think we've worked out how we get this thing to work, and that really means that our level of ambition of what's possible can go to an even higher level. I think that we're surprising each other at how we're learning together and how our strategic alignment is only being reinforced in terms of what's the future of what's possible. So I think I would translate that as a way of saying, Dario recently has announced an integration agreement with Dexcom. We think those sort of additional partnerships in the ecosystem are incredibly important. They've announced an additional collaboration with Amwell. I think having a telemedicine partner is immensely important. I'm hopeful that we will continue to expand out that ecosystem that brings like-minded organizations together and does great things for patients and the people that we're serving. So I think that idea of extended partnering and ecosystem of partnering, I think that's going to be a great area to watch and an area I'm really motivated and believe in. I think our level of innovation is going to take a stepwise approach up. So now that we know the formula, I think that's great. And I'm very hopeful that we're going to very soon be bringing forward to the scientific community some really innovative ways in order to do studies. And these studies, I hope, are going to contribute to defining what are pragmatic, credible designed approaches to evidence that are not a drug style of evidence, but are tailored for this digital world. And I call that out as a really important proof point because I think that's part of the journey to working out how you mature the payer landscape and the evaluation. So I hope that our collaboration not only serves the interests of the companies that we represent and also the people that we're seeking to serve, I hope it plays a role in terms of helping and encouraging this industry to continue to motivate and continue to define standards for leadership. And that to me is a great place to be. And I would say, watch on, be part of it. We're open to any ideas that can make this a great thing for all who choose to be involved.
I love it. Well, Alex, always a pleasure speaking with you. Can't wait to either run into you at a conference or maybe I say hello next time I'm in the Boston area. And always a pleasure chatting with you, though.
You too. Thank you, Jared. Have a great time.